In 2003, my boys and I towed our little 19-foot trailer sailor across the United States from Utah to Florida, where we set off for a 1-month adventure in the Bahamas. Our first port of call was Alistown on Bimini Island. We arrived late in the afternoon, just in time to see a Chalks Airlines seaplane taking off for Fort Lauderdale. My wife Joyce was to fly out a week later and meet us in Nassau, so the boys were curious as to whether she would be arriving by seaplane like the one they had just seen. We tied up at a small bar and grill on the south end of the island, and the boys had plenty of chances to see more seaplanes take off and land over the next few days. The owner of the restaurant where we stayed couldn't believe that we had sailed there from Florida in such a small boat. That seemed to be a response we got everywhere we went, even though it's only 50 miles from Miami to Bimini. We spent several days in Bimini exploring the island on our little scooters before we cast off the lines and set sail for our next port of call, Chub Key, a whopping 75 miles away. The boys were more interested in CJ's cafeteria than they were the Complete Angler, where Ernest Hemingway is rumored to have written his famous novel, The Old Man of the Sea. In Chub Key, the boys enjoyed playing in the swimming pool and snorkeling in the crystal blue waters for conch shells and starfish. From Chub Key, it was on to Nassau, where we stayed at the Hurricane Hole Marina on Paradise Island. This is a place where my father was well known, so we were given special treatment by the owner of the Green Parrot Bar and Restaurant. He was one of my father's acquaintances there in Bimini and a good friend of his. In Nassau, we were joined by Joyce, who was happy to see her babies were still alive, albeit very sunburned. I received a stern scolding for not being more diligent with the sunscreen applications. Not far from Nassau is a small island named Rose Island, and that's where my father's ashes were sprinkled after he passed away on a yacht during a storm somewhere near Nassau. We took this opportunity to pay our respects by taking a nice day sail over to the island with the boys in tow on our little dinghy. At church on Sunday, the native Mormons had a hard time believing we had come from Utah on a 19-foot sailboat, so they sent the missionaries over to the marina to verify our story. That's them there posing with us, with our little boat in the background. A month was up before we knew it, and we sailed back across the Gulf Stream towards Florida and the rest of our lives. It was an experience that we will always cherish, and perhaps it was a precursor for even greater adventures to come.